So this is how you install cgroup. As you can see, this package has been installed and this is its version name. So if I check it on other console, this is the package which has been installed, and if I really want to check which all files it's providing, so simply I can do a RPF and QL on that package. So these are the files which has been provided by this package. As you can see, these are some of the binaries which it's providing, that is cg classify, cg create, cg delete, exec, cg get, cg set, snapshot, listing the C groups with the LSC group, and ls listing the subsystems. So these are the normal binaries which it provides. Then below that you can see these are some of the super binaries which it is providing. Super binaries in the sense only admin will be, root user will be able to, or the super user will be able to use these binaries, which is cg clear, cg config parser, and cg rule SENDGD. These are the super binaries. Then it is providing one directory called as C group, which is empty at the moment. We will discuss about this directory later on. Next, it provides these configuration files. As you can see, cgconfig.conf, which is the main configuration file, then cgconfig.d, which is a directory, then cgrules.conf, another configuration file, and the cgsnapshot blacklist.conf file. So these are the configuration files. Next, it has two service files, which is a cgconfig and cgred. These files are got installed into rc.d directory. That means these are the two service files. That means cgconfig and cgred are the services which this package provides. Next is another configuration file, which is cgconfig and cgred conf file. Then next these two are the libraries, and these rest of the files are documentation files and the manual pages. So these are all the files which has been provided by this package. So in short, the package provides you some of the normal binaries, some super binaries, as well as some service files, some configuration files, some empty directories, and documentation and man pages. So these are all the contents of this package. Now let's talk about the directory, the default directory, which is C group. So this is the directory which you can see is empty as of now. The reason behind it is we haven't started the C group service yet. Okay, now before I start the service, let's take a look at the default config file. So this is the default configuration file which you can see, and these are the contents of it. As you can see, whenever you will start the C group service, this file will be used, and the contents which are mentioned in this file will be used, and service will mount all these subsystems. So these are 8 subsystems which you can see. It will mount it on these directories and their subdirectories. For example, CPU set is one of the subsystem which will be mounted. Once you start the service, it will mount it on CPU set named subdirectory. Same way CPU, CP account, memory, devices, freezer, net, CLS, and BLK. So these are the 8 default subsystems which are present into the Red Hat Enterprise Linux 6 version. By the way, I forgot to mention that I'm using Red Hat Enterprise Linux 6.8 machine for this demo. Okay, so these are the subsystems, default 8 subsystems, and it will mount into the C group. As of now, we don't have any content into it. Okay, now let me at the same time let me show you the mounts. Let me grep it for the C group, and you won't find anything into it. So now let me start the service cg config start. Now the moment I start this service, this file will be used, and all these mount points will be created. All these subsystems will be mounted on inside the C group's subdirectories. You can consider this C group as a C group as a directory, and the CPU set, as you can consider it as a hierarchy. Okay, so I consider this as a hierarchy, CPU set, CPU and all. So let me start the service. I started the service. Let me first show you the contents of it. As you can see, the content earlier the C group directory was empty. Now you have a couple of subdirectories into it. Now if I go inside that any of the directory, for example, let me go into the CPU name subdirectory, and the moment I go inside it, I will find the parameters, or I can say the limiting parameters, or the tuning parameters for the CPU subsystem. Same way, if I go into the memory subsystem, I will find the memory related tuning parameter, memory subsystem related tuning parameters. Same way for the BLKIO, CP account, and the rest of the subsystems. Okay, since the service has been started and the directories subdirectories has been generated, now let me check the proc mounts one more time. Let me check that. As you can see, earlier it was empty. Now you have a couple of C group mount points. So basically C group is a virtual based file system. So the virtual file system is mounted on these respective subdirectories as per the file, as per the configuration file here, and it has been mounted onto these subdirectories. Okay. So this is how you install the C groups. So the in short, the libc group is the package which provides all the C group related facilities. For example, some normal binaries which normal users can execute, some super binaries, some documentation files, some configuration files, as well as service files. C group is a directory inside a root which will be empty at the moment, and the moment you start the C group service, it will use the cgconfig.conf file and it will mount all the subsystems whichever mentioned into the configuration file on all these subdirectories inside the C group. Inside the C group, you will find inside the C group you will find all these tuning parameters for the particular for the respective subsystem, and in every subsystem same time you will find one file called as a task. You can see it, the file is here, as well as in this memory subsystem, as well as if I check any other subsystem, for example devices, I'll find the same task file into it. If I open any of subsystems this file, let me open that up for the CPU, you can find the numbers into it. So these numbers are the PIDs. You can see there is a huge number of PIDs mentioned into this file. The same PIDs you will find into every other subsystem's task file, same PIDs. So the point which I want to make is, the moment you start a C group, facility in your system, you will find all the running tasks, all the tasks which are available on this system will be part of all of these subsystems. So what does that mean is, the moment you start a Firefox as a service, for example you are starting a Firefox, not as a service, if you are starting a Firefox a process or a task, as you can say, it will be part of every subsystem by default. It will be part of CPU set, CPU account, memory, devices, freezer, netcessor, BLK. It will be part of every subsystem. So that means Firefox PID will be present in every subsystem's task file. So this is the whole structure of C group.